one of the questions I get asked once in a while is, why are tefillin so expensive? It's kind of a hard question to answer, because knowing what I know, and as a sofer that wrote many years myself, we don't, as a sofer, it's a quite, I don't, when I have a bar mitzvah boy, when you buy a pair of tefillin from me, I have the bar mitzvah boy come in and actually, when he comes to pick up the pair of tefillin, I have a sefer, a book that goes through the entire making of tefillin with pictures and everything. I showed it in some of my other videos of the batim and things like that. And I go through the book with the bar mitzvah boy and the father from A to Z, what goes into making the tefillin. So many times they'll look at me and they'll say like, oh my gosh, I never realized how much work and how much effort goes into making the tefillin, from the straps to the boxes and to the writing. I mean, like, that's a lot of writing, and it's so small, and they write it with a feather. They really write it with a feather, like a real feather. Like, how is the tefillin so inexpensive? And like, that's why I say it's a hard question to answer, because a sofer is not one to become wealthy. There's actually Gemara written about it, and like, people like to quote the Gemara to me, like, I know it, don't worry, I've seen it. Sofer aren't writing to be wealthy. A sofer is writing because they have such a deep connection to Hashem, and they want to be able to provide tefillin and mezuzahs to Jews, Yidden. Now, no sofer is becoming rich from writing. Yet, me as the in-between, one of the reasons why I stopped writing was because I was getting, Baruch Hashem, very, very busy. And then I had people who wanted Ksav Beis Yosef, some people wanted Arizal, some people wanted Sfar. Then I can't write every style of writing. So I ended up having to reach out and work with other sofrim. But again, I'm very particular of who I buy my Parshios from. And I don't have the luxury to be able to write anymore. I have dreams. That one day, maybe when I retire, I'll be able to write again. But as of now, I'm not writing. But I wrote myself for many, many years, and I know how difficult it is to write. And people just don't realize how many hours go into writing a pair of tefillin, and how much effort it takes. One of the sofrim who works with me, he's not 40 years old. He has carpal tunnel in his hand. That's something that he has to deal with. You can't write straight, 50 hours a week or 40 hours a week. You can't, because you'll hurt your body. It's very monotonous work in the sense that your fingers are clenched like this. I'm a lefty. Fingers are clenched like this for 10 hours a day. It's very strenuous, very difficult work. Just to put things into perspective, and again, I'm focusing on the writing over here. If a good properly written set of Parshios takes a sofer between 12 and 15 hours to write the Parshios. A beautiful tefillin, the sofer who writes the nicest Parshios for me, it takes him on average about 30 hours. 30 hours to write a set of tefillin, the Parshios. If you think about it, if you were to have any other professional in any other field taking the same amount of time that it takes a sofer to write a pair of tefillin, let's say you had your accountant, let's say your accountant knew how to write a pair of tefillin. If your accountant was going to write a pair of tefillin, that pair of tefillin, if it was a okay pair of tefillin, like a good pair of tefillin, would probably cost between $2,000 and $3,000. And if it was, not tefillin, Parshios, the Parshios would cost between $2,000 and $3,000. And if it was a beautiful Mahuda pair of tefillin that took 25 to 30 hours to write, you're talking about $5,000-$6,000 just for the writing. Just for the writing. You would still need batim, and you would still need the ritzuos on top of that. So when I get asked why is tefillin expensive, it's usually people coming from the mindset that in Judaica stores you can get them for a couple $100. What's the difference one from the next? And the reason why it's a difficult question to answer is because you can't answer it on one foot, because you have to understand what goes into the process in the making of the tefillin and why one tefillin is different from the other. And this is my life's mission, to educate people and to teach people and encourage people to want and to understand the importance of having a proper, and if they're lucky, a beautiful kosher pair of tefillin. So, like everything, it's perspective. So again, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe. If you like this video, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you on my next video. Another video coming out real soon, and stay tuned.